Now let's set the record straight. There's no argument over the choice between peace and war, but there's only one guaranteed way you can have peace, and you can have it in the next second: surrender. Admittedly, there's a risk in any course we follow other than this, but every lesson of history tells us that the greater risk lies in appeasement. And this is the specter our well-meaning liberal friends refuse to face, that their policy of accommodation is appeasement. And it gives no choice between peace and war, only between fight or surrender. If we continue to accommodate, continue to back and retreat, eventually we have to face the final demand, the ultimatum. And what then? When Nikita Khrushchev has told his people, he knows what our answer will be. He has told them that we're retreating under the pressure of the Cold War, and someday, when the time comes to deliver the final ultimatum, our surrender will be voluntary, because by that time, we will have been weakened from within spiritually, morally, and economically. He believes this because from our side he's heard voices pleading for peace at any price, or better read than dead, or as one commentator put it, he'd rather live on his knees than die on his feet. And therein lies the road to war, because those voices don't speak for the rest of us. You and I know and do not believe that life is so dear and peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery. If nothing in life is worth dying for, when did this begin? Just in the face of this enemy? Or should Moses have told the children of Israel to live in slavery under the Pharaohs? Should Christ have refused the cross? Should the patriots at Concord Bridge have thrown down their guns and refused to fire the shot heard round the world? The martyrs of history were not fools. And our honored dead, who gave their lives to stop the advance of the Nazis, didn't die in vain. Where then is the road to peace? Well, it's a simple answer after all. You and I have the courage to say to our enemies, there is a price we will not pay. There is a point beyond which they must not advance. Winston Churchill said the destiny of man is not measured by material computations. When great forces are on the move in the world, we learn they're spirits, not animals. And he said there's something going on in time and space and beyond time and space, which, whether we like it or not, spells duty. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of men on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness.
Welcome back to the Logbook Podcast. I'm Kim.
I'm Dakota.
And tonight we have, again, special guests. We have Mama Sally and Chad Candy.
Hey.
Well,
thank you for having us.
Thank you guys so much again for joining us. I know it's been a hot minute.
Mm-hmm.
Dakota and I have been very busy. Special session is now in the state of Texas. We're handling some very big issues with the border. And as y'all know, we've had quite a few terrorists come through the border, and about 70,000 people from these terrorist countries come through our border.
I think about 150 that we caught right around there.
Yes.
Who knows how many got through?
Exactly. So Israel popped off, and we were going to come at this at a very military point of view and tell y'all what's going on. Please feel free. We are live. Make sure you help us out. Make sure you like, follow, and share, and subscribe as we continue. We do have some videos that have been coming in. Fortunately, when I was in the military and we were doing War on Terror, we would get these videos from ISIS, ISIL, Boko Haram, Hezbollah, you name it, every kind of durka under the sun. And I think my last video of that I ever got from the training videos was back in 2017. But now they're back. So we will actually be cutting off YouTube and Facebook. So make sure that you come and watch us on Rumble. You can find us at Common Denominator Network or the Logbook Podcast on Rumble. And we will be streaming there to show you these videos. The reason why I say we are going to show you these videos, we are not going to blur out anything is we have a lot of Holocaust deniers out there. So we are going to make sure that this is not forgotten. Straight up, you need to see this. So be advised that that's coming. Just again, we're going to be over on Rumble when we share these videos.
And if you continue watching, make sure you don't got kids in the room or anything, because
NC-17.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Definitely NC-17. Because you have the redhead here. I'm always lit and ready to fire off, so you never know what's going to come out of me.
Exactly. And I only know how to speak a petty officer. Speaking of petty officer, happy birthday, United States Navy. It's, oh, wow. We have been an absolute power force right now, and we need that be that power force again. So go Navy. Happy 248th birthday.
Do I?
So, hey, Kimberly, how are you doing? It's good to see you here. Well, first off, I think we need to address the issue here, the white elephant in the room. Who's at fault? Is it Palestine or is it Israel?
Well, that's a good
It's
question.
Hamas.
Yeah, I'd say it's Hamas, but
Because
that's where the
Hamas
split
is not Palestine. Not everyone in Palestine is going with Hamas, because a lot of them are trying to leave.
Right. So this is what we know, and we were trained in the military, and the videos that we saw is that these terrorist groups, they play dirty warfare. And these terrorist groups will actually build tunnel systems and
heard
actually
about
house their armaments inside heavily civilian populations. Their bases will be inside of hospitals, schools, and
Yep.
anything where it is family oriented is where they are going to run their operations. That way they can cry when they get hit. Oh no.
They hit a hospital. They hit a school. They hit all
That's
these.
because
They
they're
killed all
chicken
these
shits.
Yeah, they are chicken shits. That's what it is. And that
When they use innocent people as shields, they're chicken shits.
Mhm.
Exactly.
I agree.
And we saw that video of that when we were in the military. We've been briefed on things like that, and it's back again. But I actually saw a video of their day. I think Ben Shapiro showed it, and because he actually understands a lot of the Arabic and language, and
Not even that. He was in Israel when they were struck, and he barely got out himself.
yeah. And what it is that they have been planning this attack for 2 years.
They've had at least 2 years.
So what happened 2 years ago?
Yep.
It was the fall of Afghanistan. That happened 2 years ago. Abbey Gate. We just celebrated the second anniversary of Abbey Gate.
I wouldn't say celebrated.
Well, not so. Well, I'm going to celebrate our dead. They were heroes. God bless them. So yeah, I will say celebrate. Amazing individuals, amazing patriots. Thank God for them. But I will say this is that Trump was right. Trump said that presence needed to be there to keep the peace.
Yep.
And hi, Ruth. How are you doing? Thanks for joining us. I know it's been a long time since I've been on here.
Mhm.
And the bad thing is that when Biden decided he was going to release that $6 billion, and then Congress said, no, wait a minute. That's when Iran gave thumbs up for invasion.
Iran is Hezbollah.
Hezbollah.
Yep, Hezbollah has been in contact. So Boko Haram, Hezbollah, ISIS, ISIL, all of them work together for the common goal. And that's what it is. And I was going back to Trump when he sat there and he said, you need a presence there to make sure evil doesn't come back. And the moment we lost in Afghanistan is the moment that they knew, because of our weakness, because of our president, that they could reassemble and start recruiting this nonsense. And that's exactly what happened.
Critical
I fully
thinking,
agree.
try it.
Yeah, I would say the planning began, after Trump's presidency or Biden won his presidency.
Hey, critical
Well,
that
thinking.
doesn't-
What's up? Welcome on.
He's
to
one of
our-
my friends from Discord, so
Cool.
Hey, right on. Thanks for bringing them in, Chad.
Yeah.
Well, and one thing that I've been noticing is, we are having an extreme silence from the far left leaning political heads in Washington, D.C.
Yes, we are.
But
yeah.
surprisingly, we have to give credit where credit's due. AOC has actually stood up for Israel.
surprised, extremely
Surprised.
Extremely
And now she's
surprised.
being shunned.
Yeah.
They're trying to shun her, but it's kind of like right now they're saying Biden's a hero around the world because he is supporting Israel on this. So
Right.
It's kind of a no-brainer there.
it should be, but I don't know. I see all kinds of stuff I've been seeing about it. So
I'm not sure if y'all actually, do y'all remember even when 9/11 happened? I know there's some people here with, I would say, differing views on 9/11. But I do remember one thing is when those towers were hit and they went down, the people in Gaza 100% believed it was them and a terrorist attack because they were sitting there dancing in the streets in Gaza. And I remember when Israel had our back 100%. But,
Yeah.
I actually have the deleted tweet from Joe Biden. And Dakota's going to share it right now. Here, read that, you guys. We unequivocally condemn the attack of Hamas terrorists and the loss of life that has incurred. We urge all sides to refrain from violence and retaliatory attacks. Terror and violence will solve nothing. That I am just absolutely appalled at that. That's like telling us after 9/11 happened that we had no right to defend themselves. That protects the terrorist. And the figures are this. We've heard them from Sean Hannity. We've heard them from everywhere else. Per capita, the result of the terrorist attacks in Israel would be equal to, per capita, 35,000 of our own Americans being slaughtered.
Yep.
What I don't understand is that this weak yost of a president would sit there and deny a people the right to defend themselves. And that's what, here's the thing. He's doing it again with 2A issues.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to give us the right to defend ourselves, even in our home. And we need to wake up as Americans and realize that that is where we're at. And there is a traitor in the White House. For sure.
Well, I agree with that. I think they're going to have even more time trying to push some of this through because, like you were saying the other night, that this stuff with Israel is kind of put on the front burner right now for everything else going on. And you're trying to, once again, say that we don't need weapons to protect ourselves, yet Israel and Hamas is passing them out everywhere. And during Ukraine, Zelensky was even passing out weapons to everybody. So you're trying to tell us that we don't need guns, but all these other people need weapons and stuff. So, I think this is one of those things to where they don't know what to say about it, or they don't know how to say it, I guess you could say. It's kind of
well, the bad thing is right now the protests are not in favor of Israel. They're in favor of Hamas.
I see
New York is on lock, is on full alert.
I got to see some of New York earlier today. So a friend of mine, or a guy that I know that podcast, he was live out there in it, and there was tons of Palestinians out there protesting, but there was a bunch of Jewish people out there protesting too. And it was an argument. There were some arguments. I'll say that.
Well, it's not just that. Netanyahu Netanyahu has given 24 hours to get the pedestrians and innocents out of Gaza.
Well, I actually have the video of the flyers that he sends out if Dakota wants to bring that up.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
let's see those.
Yeah, Dakota's going to get that. And then I'm going to talk about a bit how the parliamentary system works in Israel. So just like we have a very divided country here, Israel also has well. So
Yes.
they literally have a parliamentary democracy. So you have the executive power, which is Netanyahu. Then you have the courts. And I guess this is where all the conspiracy theory is coming in, which some of it is not conspiracy theory. Netanyahu is right wing. But if you look at the Supreme Courts and the justices, all that, that's Soros.
Does this it here?
Straight
Yep.
up. Yes.
In
So-
Israel,
Yeah.
Soros and Israel is what you're saying?
Just allow the
Yeah, absolutely.
Palestinians to have a state of their own, there would be peace in the Middle East, right? That's what you hear from UN ambassadors, European diplomats, and most college professors.
That's actually the wrong video. Dakota, it actually shows papers flying down from the.
Okay.
So he's going to put that up. But I was going to explain more of the parliamentary democracy. You have the Knesset, and that Knesset is pretty much the legislative power. And the Knesset, they are extreme left. Like, people don't know this, is that there was actually gun ban legislation put through by the Knesset just a couple years ago. And,
Yep.
you remember, Chad, and I know you do, Mama Sally, when you saw pictures in the 80s and 90s and maybe early 2000, it was really cool to see chicks with Uzis in Israel. Okay, that was gone. So again, it's reliving the Holocaust. They sat there, removed their guns again, and then you get Holocaust-like atrocities again on the Jewish people. And it's the Jewish people doing it to themselves because of these far left agendas where people do not have a right to defend themselves because what? Killing's bad.
Yep.
I've seen that, and I've seen that also. I never can pronounce his name, but the Jewish leader or the Israel leader.
Netanyahu.
Yeah, and I've seen to where he's so far right that they're trying to make this an anti-right thing because of the fact that this is happening under his watch. Kind of like if it happened, 9/11 happened under our watch or under Biden's watch, it would be kind of like, well, this is due to Biden not paying attention to stuff. So,
Well, it's like this. They had some kind of warning.
there had to have been some kind of warning. And
There you go.
I'll have to agree with him on that as far as in New York and stuff. As long as they're doing it peacefully, it is their right to protest.
It is a process.
It is. But when they are planning and Hamas has already told their followers that if Israel attacks them at the end of their 24-hour window, to rise up.
I mean,
So what does that
Well,
mean for us?
Well, I will say this. There is some mercy coming from Israel, and we do have that video of the flyers. Dakota's got it up here.
Yay. Let's see it.
If you look real close into that, you can see tons of paper being dropped out of the sky.
so is Egypt allowing them to come in?
No, absolutely not. And that
Well, how
makes-
are they going to move south then?
So this is my problem, and I can see Egypt's problem in the way of I would say international things, is that Egypt's been burned by Hamas before. Even the FBI put out a report. Y'all can look it up, where the FBI started raiding mosques, and they found is that the people will not sit there and rat out where the terrorists are. And we're even having that problem here in Houston. We actually have the head of the Islamic Society of Greater Houston right now running for mayor.
Oh yeah.
And hey, Dakota, do you want to pull up his stuff
Yeah, sure, I can do that.
while we do
Oh, I
that?
thought you were
Yeah,
talking
I
about,
think he can forget that now.
Oh yeah, it's
What's
a pipe
his
dream.
face?
Y'all can go over, look at MJ Khan for mayor. Hasn't condoned any of that. He hasn't done any of that where he's even talked about it at all. And that's a bad thing that's going
Well,
on.
he feels if he doesn't talk about it, then he doesn't have to give his view or his standpoint on it.
Well, from what
Ignore
I've
it,
seen,
don't talk about it, and it doesn't exist.
just from what I saw in New York, the protests so far have been peaceful. But I was watching Lou Valentino, and he was live at the protests and such, and he was saying that they were getting ready to start arresting people because it was coming to nighttime. So now's whenever the arrest and violence is going to start, if there is any.
Well, it's already started in Chicago. I know it started in New York. I've seen the videos of that. And you want to show
Here we
up this
go,
one,
yeah.
Houston?
Yeah, so this is MJ Khan right here. So this is the man who is running for mayor of Houston. And down here it explains that he is the president of the Islamic Society of Greater Houston.
So he was there during the raids of the mosque down here. Now, 10% of the raids were actually done by the FBI, and 10% of all the mosques so far, what they found, had ties to terrorist organizations. He was there, and in that slide that you saw with Islamic Society of Greater Houston, he said it's the FBI's job to find them before they enter the mosques. I'm sorry, us Americans, and this is where you need to adapt. When we see evil, we can call it the hell out. But because
Abso-damn-lutely.
Yeah.
indoctrinating religion, and they will sit
Yes.
there and they think, oh, Allah will do it all. No,
If you see something, you better open up and say something.
right.
Well, they've got posts all over Facebook saying if you see something, say something. And a lot of people just laugh at it because how many times this stuff happened in the U.S. where the FBI has been alerted months before, like school shootings and everything else. And somebody said something and they're like, okay, we'll get to it when we can, or don't do anything even when they find stuff out. Now, Critical Thinking's talking about how he blames Obama. And I do kind of blame Obama for Israel and for the Ukraine, but I don't think it would have happened if Biden hadn't been such a wuss and pulled out of everywhere and just left everybody standing there, or Hillary for that matter.
Well, it's already been documented that they're using our U.S. weapons on Hamas's side.
Well,
Yeah.
of course.
Where'd they get them from?
Yeah, the pullout in Afghanistan. I mean, it was like we knew this was coming. It came a little faster than I think we anticipated.
I'll be right back.
Well,
I will say this. I am so sorry. I do not know how to pronounce your name.
Yeah, let's try it though. Amuchaka Onyema. Give us a follow if we got it right. Just that, yeah.
We're trying.
We're trying our best.
The innocent ones have lost their lives and properties while terrorists are hiding somewhere. I pray peace for both sides. Absolutely.
amen. I'm not saying that Palestinians or people in Gaza are all bad. They're not. There's a lot of innocent people there that do not support it.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
We got it right.
Yay.
Yeah.
All right, some good news.
Awesome.
Awesome. All right, so now you have to give a like.
Yeah, you can like, follow, and share.
Okay, so from a veteran perspective, war is hell. General Sherman actually said that with our own war in the Civil War, and it was atrocities and barbarianism as you would you couldn't believe, just as we're seeing today, not basically at this point on an animalistic level, which is still not doing it justice. But people actually misquote that or misrepresent the whole war is hell. Even Churchill said, when there's something that comes from time and space and beyond time and space, as we heard in our opening, that's Phil's duties, we learn that we are spirits and not animals. War is a battle of ideology. And General Sherman is one that they're going to buildings, pillaging and plundering and, just burning houses down throughout our Civil War time.
I mean, look no further than our own American Civil War.
Yes.
Because the thing is that pretty much defines that war. You're just battling over ideologies because there is no difference between the sides other than their ideologies.
So when you sit there and say war is hell, you forget the other quote. You take it to the people. You make them so sick of war that they quit. And that is what Hamas knows. They do know that guerrilla warfare tactic. Okay.
Right.
And that's what they're doing, is they're taking it and using their people to gain sympathies to push a cause. It is a brilliant war tactic. It has also been used. But we have generals and people in our military who aren't willing to make that choice as to go that far. This is war. I'm so sorry. You can't save all the innocent. We did that with Marine Corps. When we started with Fallujah, we were going building by building and weeding out the terrorists versus, just blowing up the building. And we were actually losing.
But how do you, how do you differentiate between terrorists and normal people when they all dress alike?
Well, that's simple. You always had translators with you. You could actually tell because the people that were in the houses.
When you lie for the faith.
No, it doesn't necessarily work that way because when you're in a school and they're raiding the school and you see the people over in the corner terrified of both sides, that's how you know.
That makes sense.
It's that simple. But, the people that are huddling in a corner, they're terrified to turn the other people in. That's the problem. They don't realize the concept of 911. You got to make a phone call.
Well,
that
another
concept
thing
is non-existent in their culture.
No.
Another thing with that is them hiding them all in the populated places. So you're staying in a populated place. I mean, that's kind of like wars throughout our history with Vietnam and, Korea and everything else, to where they just go through and take. And I mean, another thing with Israel is with us taking over right now, or not us, them taking over right now with Hamas and stuff is, you can't tell me in a way that Israel wasn't waiting for this, in a sense, for them to go full blown on against Hamas, because America and other countries typically don't do that. We sit around and wait for something to happen and then respond to it instead of going in and just wiping out a whole city or wiping out a whole population, in a sense.
Well,
and now Israel's got backing from everybody that's not into Hamas, pretty much.
That's what I'm saying. It even ties in with Paul Gunderson. Hi, Paul. It's good seeing you.
Good to see you again, Paul.
What Paul Gunderson is saying, you may not get them all, but you may get the wrong one. War is not perfect. That is very true. And that's where I was going back to when we went into Fallujah. We were going door to door, but the thing is, we were losing too many of our own. Marines were dropping like this. And at that point, we sat there, screw it, took Fallujah in 2 weeks, and then cleared the bodies with bulldozers. And then we went to help the people afterwards. That's how.
And then also, Biden giving $6 billion for hostages. Oh, that's just an open door. Hey, if you get hostages, Biden will give you money for them.
Yeah.
The bad thing is, it's not just American citizens and Israeli citizens. We have citizens from all over the world, different countries now, that are in this hostage siege.
Right.
And I've been seeing planes flying in and out of Israel for the last few days that are military planes, but they're all 737s and stuff from Poland, from Italy. all over the place. So, you know, I'm guessing those planes are going in there to rescue, to pull people
They're
out of Israel.
evacuating. They're
they're
evacuating.
Well,
and that's just what's squawking.
there's this video from PragerU that was put out a few years ago. Let me see. Dakota wanted to share this one real quick, though.
This one?
No,
No.
it's this one.
All right, put that one up.
Oh, hold on. We're having technical errors.
Yep.
So I'm going to add
Happen
this.
every time I go live. So.
I'm going to add this one up, and then I guess we need to have a discussion on this video because this has been going on.
But what if I told you that Israel has already offered the Palestinians a state of their own, and not just once, but on 5 separate occasions? Don't believe me? If Israel just allowed the Palestinians to have a state of their own, there would be peace in the Middle East, right? That's what you hear from UN ambassadors, European diplomats, and most college professors. But what if I told you that Israel has already offered the Palestinians a state of their own, and not just once, but on 5 separate occasions? Don't believe me? Let's review the record. After the breakup of the Ottoman Empire following World War I, Britain took control of most of the Middle East, including the area that constitutes modern Israel. 17 years later, in 1936, the Arabs rebelled against the British and against their Jewish neighbors. The British formed a task force, the Peel Commission, to study the cause of the rebellion. The commission concluded that the reason for the violence was that 2 peoples, Jews and Arabs, wanted to govern the same land. The answer, the Peel Commission concluded, would be to create 2 independent states, one for the Jews and one for the Arabs, a 2-state solution. The suggested split was heavily in favor of the Arabs. The British offered them 80% of the disputed territory, the Jews the remaining 20%. Yet, despite the tiny size of their proposed state, the Jews voted to accept this offer. But the Arabs rejected it and resumed their violent rebellion. Rejection number 1. 10 years later, in 1947, the British asked the United Nations to find a new solution to the continuing tensions. Like the Peel Commission, the UN decided that the best way to resolve the conflict was to divide the land. In November 1947, the UN voted to create 2 states. Again, the Jews accepted the offer. And again, the Arabs rejected it. Only this time, they did so by launching an all-out war. Rejection number 2. Jordan, Egypt, Iraq, Lebanon, and Syria joined the conflict. But they failed. Israel won the war and got on with the business of building a new nation. Most of the land set aside by the UN for an Arab state, the West Bank and East Jerusalem, became occupied territory. Occupied not by Israel, but by Jordan. 20 years later, in 1967, the Arabs, led this time by Egypt and joined by Syria and Jordan, once again sought to destroy the Jewish state. The 1967 conflict, known as the 6-Day War, ended in a stunning victory for Israel. Jerusalem and the West Bank, as well as the area known as the Gaza Strip, fell into Israel's hands. The government split over what to do with this new territory. Half wanted to return the West Bank to Jordan and Gaza to Egypt in exchange for peace. The other half wanted to give it to the region's Arabs, who had begun referring to themselves as the Palestinians, in the hope that they would ultimately build their own state there. Neither initiative got very far. A few months later, the Arab League met in Sudan and issued its infamous 3 no's. No peace with Israel, no recognition of Israel, no negotiations with Israel. Again, a 2-state solution was dismissed by the Arabs, making this rejection number 3. In 2000, Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak met at Camp David with Palestinian Liberation Organization Chairman Yasser Arafat to conclude a new 2-state plan. Barak offered Arafat a Palestinian state in all of Gaza and 94% of the West Bank, with East Jerusalem as its capital. But the Palestinian leader rejected the offer. In the words of U.S. President Bill Clinton, Arafat was here 14 days and said no to everything. Instead, the Palestinians launched a bloody wave of suicide bombings that killed over 1,000 Israelis and maimed thousands more on buses, in wedding halls, and in pizza parlors. Rejection number 4. In 2008, Israel tried yet again. Prime Minister Ehud Olmert went even further than Ehud Barak had, expanding the peace offer to include additional land to sweeten the deal. Like his predecessor, the new Palestinian leader, Mahmoud Abbas, turned the deal down. Rejection number 5. In between these last 2 Israeli offers, Israel unilaterally left Gaza, giving the Palestinians complete control there. Instead of developing this territory for the good of its citizens, the Palestinians turned Gaza into a terrorist base from which they have fired thousands of rockets into Israel. Each time Israel has agreed to a Palestinian state, the Palestinians have rejected the offer, often violently. So if you're interested in peace in the Middle East, maybe the answer is not to pressure Israel to make yet another offer of a state to the Palestinians. Maybe the answer is to pressure the Palestinians to finally accept the existence of a Jewish state. I'm David Bragg, Executive Director of the
So I will say this: during the colonization, when Britain was taking over, I remember they did the same thing to Hong Kong, and then we released Hong Kong.
Mhm.
They did the same thing to Kenya, okay? And then Elizabeth was dumbass enough to give away Kenya. And the thing is, especially with Hong Kong, because you talk to anyone Chinese, they're either from China or they're from Hong Kong. You never call anyone from Hong Kong from China because they're freer there. But what people did not realize is right before the pandemic, China took out the freedom of Hong Kong with the freedom fighters in Hong Kong. And you know, COVID was a great cover up. Where do you think those freedom fighters are now, you guys?
It's just a
Yeah, I know
distraction.
I know before that, they had all kinds of flags at Hong Kong flying USA and or American flags flying before that, and then it all disappeared.
They were actually flying Trump flags in Hong Kong. And that was completely gone. So Palestine, there is no such thing as a Palestinian to begin with, because we would be calling people from Hong Kong Hongkongians or whatever. Okay, no.
Honkies. Yeah.
There we go.
They're calling them honkies.
There you go with the honkies again, man.
They'd be
like-
walking around singing Hong Kong Phooey,
So
no
here's the
super
thing.
guy.
Yeah, it's same with Taiwan. Taiwan, their nationality is Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
They're Chinese. They earned their independence, and now they are Taiwanese. But the thing is, they are still Chinese. They still keep their races. They still keep their moral values. My thing is, if you want to look at the moral values of Palestinians, they're Iraqis. They're Iraqis. That's the moral, I guess.
I've heard more than their opinion, but still.
Well, they've been a cesspool pit for every terrorist organization that you can think of.
Okay, so this is pretty clean in favor of Israel video. It is very in favor of Israel, but I could tell you what, I could go all the way back to the Crusades where that was Israel. Freaking Muslims took it then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this goes way back. But here's my thing: is the city of David exists? City of David. That's a
Jerusalem.
Hello, Jerusalem. So who owned it first? Oh, the Jews. It's like a well freaking duh. Their cities are named it. They have their ruins there. It's clearly theirs. That's just a no-brainer at this point.
I don't know that much about the Quran, but don't pretty much all these religions, these Abrahamic religions, pretty much meet in the middle in Jerusalem?
So the first 5 books of the Torah are also the first 5 books of the Quran. So that's where this really, I guess, nutcase comes in with the Muslim ideology. Is the Torah is Jewish? The Torah is Jewish.
Because I know Christianity, Islam and I guess Judaism are all Abrahamic religions, so they all kind of come from
Judaism.
Judaism, I guess you would say, even though they wouldn't call it that. But
if
yeah,
you look at the timeline, Abraham was the first chosen by God. That's why Israelites are called the chosen people, because Abraham was the first chosen. He was the first Israelite. Well, not Israelite, first chosen person. And then you had the Israelites after Isaac and Jacob, and then Jacob had his name changed to Israel. And then you have all the Israelites after that.
I have a kid.
Have a child.
he's out there having a blast back there. But
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just Silva Lucas. My prayers for you and your safety. But I actually know some guys in the IDF forces. We'll say this for Americans' response: the Ford Strike Group is there. That's a pretty badass strike group. Again, happy birthday, Navy. Hoo-yah, kick-ass, take names, guys. Also, we do have special forces there on the ground. Yes, we do have Americans on the ground sitting there and working to find a way to get our hostages back. As now, I believe the last reports was 20 are still held captive. And the USS Bataan, which is an LHD. That is a strictly Marine Corps carrier, tiny carrier looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's an amphib.
Yeah, amphibious assault vehicle, amphibious assault ship, carrying Marines on it, dropping them off at the beach. Go have fun.
And that's where I want to talk about like the military element of this. The military element is we're pissed about Afghanistan.
Yeah.
We are so sick and freaking tired. Sorry, I have a kid. We are so freaking tired.
Don't be sorry.
Yeah.
Let her make a joyful noise.
I think she was sorry for her words, her choice of words. But
Raise a little hell, B. Raise a little hell.
Yeah.
I'll be right back again. Sorry.
She has her own protest going on over there.
Yeah, I think our consensus is that we lost Afghanistan, guys. We lost the war on terror, in case y'all didn't know that. We lost the war on terror. And even Eli Crane, if you have to send has constantly said that has done our troops mental damage. We need to get in there, and for the sake of motivation and all the crap that we've been through since, the war on terror, we need to get in there and kick ass and take names. And we need to kick ass and take names this time and quit playing politics.
Don't even worry about taking names. Just kick ass.
Yeah. I want to talk about Silva Lucas here. Ruth Albee, hello. I'm currently in Israel now. Silva, if you need a platform or to tell everyone your story, please contact us at Common Denominator Network or the Logbook, and we'll get your voice out. I'm not doing that for ratings. It's just people have stories and they need to get them out, because I do not want this to be a Holocaust denying situation. For me personally, I have a rabbi that's an 05.
I mean, I have actually met a Holocaust survivor with the tattoo on her wrist.
I went to the Holocaust Museum and I was terrified when I was 13 because she sat there. I was in the library and she shook me in the library. She says, "Don't you forget this. Don't you dare forget this." And that's why I was sitting here watching all these grotesque, horrible videos that these horrible, vile demons of that think they are people who have lost their complete sense of humanity. I've watched them because I need to make sure that this history is not repeated and people do know the truth. So
well, and the thing is right now and I don't know how true this is. I'm just going to throw that out there that they were saying that there's a whole bunch of Palestinians that are on Ativan. Mm-hmm. And now they're without their medications.
Oh gosh, yeah. So there is a big, huge thing with SSRIs among them, and SSRIs actually cause crazy behavior, and we have that on the House Committee of Veteran Affairs. Machaka, you know, we understand the Arabs very well as veterans. We understand that they love violence. We do have some that were interpreters, and they're here in the United States because they took that stand.
I mean, it's a religion of violence that these Arabs are following. I mean,
So
in the
Ativan
Quran,
Ativan is not an SSRI. Ativan is a benzo.
Oh, I know, but we have them with the thing is they move drugs like hotcakes throughout the Arab community too.
it's the
Opiates, everything.
Oh yeah, I know they move everything through there, but
yes. I mean, what it was like the biggest trade area in ancient times, and even more modern times too. You had the Silk Road going through the Arab countries, didn't you? And all the way through China, where they would move drugs like opium, and it still works today.
I was gonna say they did. I think they still do.
Chaka, you have a very powerful story, sir. Feel free to reach out to us too. I would love to hear it. See if you ever want to come on here. I would love to hear your story. Definitely.
There's also a plane currently landing in Tel Aviv right now from the Peru Air Force. That's a 737.
Yeah, will say this. There is a mass amount of Israelites actually flying out of Houston to go back to their homeland and fight.
Really?
Yeah.
These young men are going to join the IDF. I already know they're actually and send out recruitment.
I'm sure they have to make a transfer whatever between Houston and Tel Aviv. So I'm sure it's not coming up on my radar. Most of them are all landing in Tel Aviv that I'm seeing. So
yeah.
Well, most of the news broadcasts that I'm seeing from Israel right now are out of Tel Aviv.
Yeah. I mean, that's just
even
what I'm
though
picking up on
Syria is trying to start muscling in on the action.
Here's one that just took. Here's a Lockheed C-130 that just took off part of Poland Air Force from Tel Aviv too.
You want to show?
Can you bring it up, Chad?
I'm sure I can.
Right on. Oh,
This is like a live flight screen.
So we know that they are evacuating because from everything I'm seeing and I'm hearing, I'm expecting heavy action here in the next 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah.
So right now you can see. Right now over here you can see what kind of plane it is. It says Poland Air Force. It's a Lockheed C-130 and switching around. And then you can pretty much check all the airplanes. One of these was that NA right there. Come on. It might have already dropped off the radar since it landed. Peru Air Force that's coming up. That one just looks like a regular plane. So, yeah, this one, there it goes. And I clicked off of it. And you can see it's a Boeing 737-528. It took off from Rome and is landing in Tel Aviv right now, or it's probably circling around to land. So, and it's from Peru. So, I don't know if you can tell all that, but.
Yeah. Have y'all, something that else is coming to me.
And then
what? What do you got? It's loading. Have y'all seen, so the White House did that response where it just said, both sides stop fighting in Israel, you can't defend yourself. And then they took down that role. And then they came back and said, okay, now we're on the side of Israel, except for one, and it was Tlaib. Do you think you can find the look up what Tlaib, her questions and stuff?
Tlaib, questions to what she sent. That's what this is?
No. Tlaib was walking the halls, and a Fox News reporter even sat there. And
let me go look for it.
Anyways, it's on my Facebook, please.
I can't pronounce your name, but the guy you're talking about. Yeah. Vince said to look into your. Vince invited him to the StreamYard if he looks into his messages. So I don't know.
Yeah.
you saw that or not.
I know Vincent's messaging us through StreamYard.
Yeah.
I mean, I see him here on the bottom, but I can get him to pop back in and sit in a chair. So.
Oh, we got another message.
Oh, no. Vincent, you want to come on? No, he don't want to come on. He's just watching the show. But here's we have, I'm looking for it. Where Tlaib. Oh, here she is. Dakota's pulling it up. He just has to figure out.
He said he's producing it for us. So.
Way to be a producer.
Just supervise and collect money.
Yeah.
Teamwork.
there's no money.
There is no I in team.
We're making tons of money off of this, everybody.
Yeah.
Parents chopping off babies' heads.
Oh, I saw that.
Congresswoman, do you have a comment on Hamas terrorists chopping off babies' heads? You have nothing to say about Hamas terrorists chopping off babies' heads? Do you condone what Hamas has done, chopping off babies' heads, burning children alive, raping women in the street? You have no comment about children's heads being chopped off? Congressman, why do you have the Palestinian flag outside your office if you do not condone what Hamas terrorists have done to Israel? Do Israeli lives not matter to you? Oh, Hamas terrorists.
That was it.
Yeah, that was.
So
Yeah.
I do know that I like to pay attention to, federal news, but also want to let you know that, I pay attention to local federal too. I watch everything that my congressman does. Y'all know I do. Big, huge fan of my Congressman Logan Luttrell. He was out quick against her. He threw out some public letters censuring Tlaib.
There was a lot of people out. She's the one that had the flag hanging from her office, isn't it?
Yeah,
her
and she was
office.
taking pictures.
Yeah. Yeah. And it says something when AOC turns around and doesn't support that. The whole squad pretty much turned around from what I've seen anyway. So
Just says no, Palestine.
Okay.
That's a bit
I
much
was
for
absolutely shocked when AOC come out and says I support Israel.
me too.
I was like,
think that was, and I guess
what the heck?
Lebanon was attacking Israel from the north today. So
Oh wow.
This is the
Bible
letter.
prophecy being fulfilled.
I have a letter from Congressman Luttrell on this. I signed on to a resolution to censure Rep. Rashida Tlaib. Hamas terrorists have raped and murdered women, beheaded Jewish babies, burned Jewish children alive, and killed Americans. Yet, Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib refuses to condemn the attack. She justified their vile action and called Israel an apartheid state, placing blame on Israel for the barbarism of these terrorists. There should be zero tolerance for anti-Semitism in America, especially in the halls of Congress. And that was direct from my congressman. I'm very proud of him to see what he is doing and the pressure he's putting on us, putting on them as well. What are your thoughts?
But I'm really surprised that the far left is not saying anything for or against. I mean, I guess if you're not saying anything, that means
they're staying
you're
silent. They're not going to say anything on this because they can't come out. They can't come out and support Israel.
Oh no, BLM came up and supported it. That's for sure. Hey,
Oh, BLM did,
You
yeah.
know that video?
BLM's a bunch of
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know how
BLM
many
was
people
supporting
I
Hamas.
saw? You know how many YouTubers I saw completely bashing BLM for that? I mean, BLM's lost all its strength as far as I can tell anyway, because you don't hear BLM hardly anymore. I mean, you might say here, no justice, no peace, but most of them aren't even out there flying a BLM flag or nothing anymore. Because, I mean,
Yep.
even if it is for the cause and not the people that were the movement or whatever, whichever way you want to call that, because they don't even want to support that anymore because they're like, hey, look, we got screwed by BLM,
Right. Speaking of which, we want to show this video for you guys too. So, and play.
Hello! They want our people dead! They want us killed!
That's a BLM organizer right there.
How is it allowed? How are you allowing this? Why are you putting us down? They want us dead! Please end it, please!
This isn't about what happened on the weekend. Why can't they just go up there?
Allowed! They want our people.
There you go.
Well, guys, we are going to go ahead and I would say let's take a 10-minute break while we change over. And I guess that's okay with you guys, so we can actually talk about the videos and the monstrosities that are happening. Guys, make sure you come over to Common Denominator Network on Rumble. You can follow us there. And or the Logbook podcast on Rumble. You can follow us there. We will not be on YouTube or Facebook or any other platform because the stuff that we are showing will definitely get us banned.
Right.
So we're
Put
going
the links up there for the Rumble.
Yeah. If you want to put up.
Or put it in the chat for all the stuff. I don't have access to it, so people have a link to click on.
Yeah. Well, I can't do. Hold on, let me see if I can do it in there. Just guys, it's just that simple. Go find us look up the Logbook podcast or Rumble or Common Denominator Network. You'll see our logos there. You'll see a logbook and our other things. But we're gonna go ahead and put up our video right now, and we'll see y'all on the other side. Yeah, he's getting that real quick.
Have a good day for now.
Yeah,
And
we'll
stay
see
safe, Sylvia.
we'll see you in about 10 minutes. Are you gonna get it?
Yeah, I'm getting it.
He's getting it. And we'll be showing again those videos that we can't necessarily see on
All right, remove.
okay.
Put it down.
In 1814, we took a little trip along with Colonel Jackson down the mighty Mississippi. We took a little bacon and we took a little beans, and we caught the bloody British in a town in New Orleans. We fired our guns and the British kept a-coming. There wasn't as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they began to run it on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. We looked down the river and we see the British come, and there must have been 100 of them beating on the drum. They stepped so high and they made the bugles ring. We stood beside our cotton bales, didn't say a thing. We fired our guns and the British kept a-coming. There wasn't as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they began to run it on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. Old Hickory said we could take them by surprise. If we didn't fire muskets till we looked them in the eye. We held our fire till we see their faces well. Then we opened up our squirrel guns and really gave them well. We fired our guns and the British kept coming. There wasn't as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they began to run it on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, they ran through the briars and they ran through the brambles and they ran through the bushes where a rabbit couldn't go. They ran so fast that the hounds couldn't catch them on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. We fired our cannon till the barrel